I remember when I saw the movie A Space Odyssey, 2001, Space Odyssey, a few years ago. Um, I can only describe the feeling I got from it as like if you were to imagine being carried away in a giant tide, right? You slowly, like first you're standing in the water, then you slowly see the ground kind of disappearing beneath you. It's like you're being sort of swept away from what is known, what is comfortable. Um, and there's a little bit of that sensation that I think when people crave drugs, when people take certain kinds of drugs, it has that kind of sentiment, and it's like it's sort of a cross between a physical and an emotional sort of sensation, and it's also very much like I remember when I would listen to a cappella church music, right? Would often create that feeling. Something about hearing the voices but without any background music, just the voices, and that slight echo that sometimes can make my brain feel like that. And that could be a scary feeling, but I think depending on what mood you're in, I think I can also, what mood I'm in, I can also think that it's something that's very appealing to me. Um, and just as a few examples, the monolith, as you know, is a very prominent figure in 2001: A Space Odyssey. That the extraterrestrials have sent the monolith down to contact human beings. That this is their form of communication. And it frequently appears even during the days of when human beings are in their most primitive state, like basically ape men. Long before civilization even really develops. And there's also this strange humming sound that it emits, and later on you see at the very end when the astronaut gets ejected from the ship by Hal, the computer. And he's sent through this wormhole, this time warp where he sees himself as an old man. And then he's reborn, and you see him like as a fetus floating outside of planet Earth. Really fascinating. But it does raise a lot of questions for me as to what, how much of technology really, or more intelligent life forms were the basis of religion. That a lot of what we, maybe going back to really, really ancient history, almost prehistory, if a lot of the religious experiences or if a lot of these non-physical kind of realities are really actually expressions of more advanced, more sophisticated kinds of technologies, which has been discussed in many channels, and many people have. There's been a lot of debates about this, but it's I think what's very, in some ways, very comforting about it is that unlike the story about Frankenstein, right? It's not about new agey type of people trying to force science and religion together to create this sort of narcissistic agenda. That in this case you get to see the universe just work at its own pace and express itself in the way that it wants, and there's more of that sense of humility, I think, in many of the characters, except Hal, of course, is this evil computer with many of these sort of sociopathic traits. And his mentality really is much closer to that sort of didactic and very dangerous quality that you see in Dr. Frankenstein's community, right? The people who would be led astray because of their need to want to basically control nature and to really eventually want to dominate society under the pretense that they have unlocked these really amazing secrets